Arco, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie or the character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. Now, I don't think Elio is entirely a bad Pixar movie. I know it didn't do well in the box office, and there are people who have some critiques about it, but here's what I thought about Elio. I thought Elio was a decent movie. I really enjoyed the exteriors and space environments that we were visiting. I liked how everything looked, how it was like flow and brightness of it all. I even thought some of the alien designs were really creative, and maybe that's just because I was so enthralled of something that's not being the typical Pixar. But what hurt the most was the fact about the story. And I don't want hate to be sent to these directors because they were just doing their jobs, but at the same time though, I want to stress the importance of executive producers meddling with creatives and their storytellings. It is the year 2026, and I know this should not be a surprise to me, but in the same time as I say this, I don't understand how you want to crave inclusivity and everyone belongs here and all this other stuff that makes everybody not feel so alone. Yet you have creators who represent and identify themselves as part of the LGBT community, and yet you will not even allow them to tell that story that they want to do. This isn't just for Melina. This goes for the Win or Lose. This goes for the Owl House. This goes for everything that I just don't understand. For Christ's sake, one of the reasons the Disney Renaissance was successful is because one of their composers was a gay man, Howard Ashman. It's just something I really think we should have a deeper conversation, because it's backward and pretty insulting to have to see companies want to support and promote inclusivity and diversity, but yet it's kind of hush hush, like we can't let them know. But at the same time, I don't know. Okay, to wrap this up, I really think Melina's vision for Elio could have been a little bit more better, but at the same time, I'll never know. But it's interesting Elio getting this nomination because it didn't do so well in the box office, and then it had people complaining about it. Nobody wants to see original movies. This is the thing. I went to see the movie and I thought it was fine. But at the same time though, I didn't see a lot of promotion for the movie. I also didn't see a lot of people themselves talking about it till afterwards with videos and stuff. So there's a lot of factors that you could talk about with Elio. But I do think it's wild for this nomination, despite the not so great reception about it. Again, I don't think it was bomb territory where it was awful, but at the same time, it wasn't as comparative to past Pixar works. It's an interesting nomination to have, but at the same time though, I really hope this is just a wake-up call for creatives everywhere to understand that if you just let people tell the stories they want to tell, you could go so far. But back to Elio. I thought Elio's story, like I said, it felt incomplete, so that's why I have a hard time wanting to say like good things about it, because there's stuff I felt like they could have evolved on if they had the time to do so. I thought it was cute. Elio's cute. Glorbin, is that his name? The little cute alien creature was cute. There's some like tender moments, and like I said, the whole space and universe atmosphere was so breathtaking to watch. That last segment with Carl Sagan narrating too, got me emotional. But like I said, the emotional parts didn't like felt as heavy compared to other past emotions. But again, it had some charm. I just really wish, once again, Pixar could just allow their movies to be movies and executives don't meddle in, because no, it's like, I don't care about statistics, I don't care about algorithms. If you let the people tell the stories they want to tell, we will have success. Next up is Arco. Arco is really interesting. I love the concepts of Arco coming from a world where time travel is involved, and kind of the universe that he lives in is very limited, while Iris herself has a future that depends a lot on robots and technology, but also again limited. So when their paths cross together, it then leads to a great connection between the two, and that's where the story just kind of, to me, was more plot driven rather than character driven. I kind of was just watching these two kids having to face the world when everybody doesn't know about them. We got these three villains who end up being kind of the good guys for us, and then we also have the robots. Mickey, for example, posing as a caregiver to Iris and her little brother Peter while their parents are away. And that's something else too. I noticed the lack of human connection that Iris has, how she wants someone to be there for her, and it can be very lonely. And for Arco to come into her life, it then leads to more things that she was missing out on. And I hope people can really appreciate it. I think it's another great chance to highlight international films that are showcased here. So shout out to Neon for even distributing this movie, because I would not have known about it if it wasn't for them. I think animation is something else I haven't seen before. I don't know if it's rotoscoping that they're using, but if it is, or if it isn't, still impressive. I can't wait to see what Hugo has next for us. Then you have Little Amelie, and this is distributed by G Kids. I enjoyed the color palette in this movie, along with how this movie looks so soft and delicate. What's really special is getting to see the child perspectives, aka Amelie, seeing the world through her eyes and her absorbing everything, whether it comes to the good things, the bad things, the things that are scary, the things that are confusing. You kind of wonder yourself too about how would you feel in this situation. It's beautiful seeing that she comes from a family that is full of love. She does have a brother that's a bit annoying, and a sister that also adores her, and a mother and father that would do anything for her, and a grandma brings life into her because of this white chocolate. And Nishiko, who's a housekeeper for them, and how she bonds so dearly to Amelie. There's a part where Nishio comes across Kashima, and they have an argument and indicating about what happened with the effects of World War II. And that section right there, like, they didn't show me any trauma. Nishio was getting angry at the situation and walked away from it, and Kashima just kept pushing her about how she forgotten her family. And that section right there, and those implications show me once again the importance of show not tell and subtlety. Yes! But Amelie herself wondering, why is she like this, and why is Nishio also like this? All these questions that any child would have, and that's what Little Amelie is. It's lovely. It's a movie with a really simple premise, but at the same time left me with so many emotions. I can't thank this movie enough. Little Amelie would be another nice win, but at the same time I think they're up against really tough competition. But with that being said, you should check out Little Amelie. Alright, a sequel I didn't expect to be this good. And I'm not talking about Bad Guys 2. I knew that movie would be successful from the jump. Okay, seriously. Zootopia 2, I was really impressed. I like it a little bit more than the first one, but it still doesn't take away some of the factors that I've known beforehand. So one of those things is, I think with the first movie, it was definitely on the nose about the prejudices when it comes to Predator versus Prey. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I just think it really outshined itself, and we could have took a step back from that. With the second one, I didn't think they overstepped their boundaries. I don't think they had to spell things out for us. It was displayed, conversations were held, and that was really something I appreciate about this one. However, the second one, in my personal opinion, had too many damn references and callbacks to stuff. It got pretty distracting at some points, and I was having a hard time keeping a straight face on a serious story of displacement. But anyway, worst reference in my opinion, The Shining reference. I just think that was so on the nose, and I just found that completely unnecessary, okay? However, the one reference that I did enjoy was the Ratatouille reference, because one of the chefs was a raccoon, and I thought about Ratatouille from Everything Ever All at Once, and I was like, full circle, baby. And if you're thinking exactly what I'm thinking, yes. And I also don't want to name names, but I think it was interesting for someone to say that this movie doesn't reflect on the current issues that are going on in this country. Okay, if you don't think it's today, I can still point back to other times where there have been people who have been displaced, hell, people who have had their land stolen, because we'll learn so much more about this because of history. And the fact that there are certain people that hide that said history speaks volumes. Just long story short, I was gagged by that entire segment. And the total fact too, that you saw Judy risking her entire life just to prove it, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but it's the fact that Nick kept telling herself, is it worth dying for? She said yes. So their personalities definitely clashed at a couple of moments. But what's so beautiful was the fact that they did work on the mystery, but also discovered more things about themselves and opening up to that. Seeing these two open up about their own flaws and issues, and there have been a couple of things I've witnessed when it comes to shows displaying that two friends who don't really talk about their issues and then one day they just do. It definitely helps normalize not having to hide back your emotions, but also knowing that you have people that are there to listen to you. So I wanted to highlight that entirely, and it's kind of why Zootopia 2 is a little bit better than the first one. And let's talk about a twist villain that actually worked for a while. Oh, Disney, you got me again. I did get spoiled, unfortunately, but Popper being a twist villain was something like, wow, here's this boy who doesn't like his rich family and doesn't like how they represent themselves. So seeing him help Judy and Gary, I thought, okay, cool, he's down for the cause. But then just seeing him stab Judy like that, I was like, how dare. And again, all to get closer to his family and be just like them. I'm just letting you know this is exactly what Succession is all about, and oh my god, please tell me someone has watched Succession in the Zootopia production room, please! I was so happy to see that. I just saw Popper oozing with Kendall Roy energy, and oh my god, guys, I cannot stop thinking about Succession entirely, watching that whole entire segment. Oh, that is like one of the best things that ever happened, yes! Anyway, it was definitely a surprise, and I was actually captivated by Andy Samberg's performance as Bob Bird. But yes, Zootopia 2 was a lot of fun. I really hope for the third one, if we do get it, we get to learn a little bit more about Nick. I know it's been always Judy as our main character, which I'm not saying she's bad at it, but it's like Nick is part of the pack too, and I really think he should also get some shine as well. But yes, Zootopia 2, pretty solid. And like I said, it's a rarity for Disney to make me love a sequel, but I'm glad this one truly outshined itself. K-pop Demon Hunters is one of the most cultural impacts to happen in 2025, and I'm very glad for this nomination. I'll admit at first glance, I thought it was another cash grab Netflix was doing, but then I realized this was Sony, and I'm like, oh, Sony can't mess this up, so it had to be worth something. And I was quite entertained. I was pleased. I thought the animation was striking. I really enjoyed the personalities and friendship between Rumi, Zoe, and Mira. All of them were so amazing. I really love that they have their serious moments, their moments when they're stunning, being huntrix, and even their silly moments. I really just love that they are authentic, roundabout characters. So when you get to see the Saja boys, Guimon, try to take over the Hamoon and destroy it, we have to rely on huntrix to make sure they save it with their powerful vocals and make sure that doesn't get broken. So the discovery of Rumi being a demon, I'm not gonna lie, I was all surprised. I did not think she was gonna be a demon, and that took me off guard. Again, I hope with the sequel, we could really expand upon that, like Rumi's parents, but more importantly, Celine herself. I felt like there was a lot of things in this movie that I wish she could have spent more time with. The big one being Gino getting a quick redemption and just dying afterwards. I don't know if they're gonna bring him back or something, but like I said, I want K-pop Demon Hunters to blow up and inspire so many boys and girls and others to be their authentic selves and not listen to the demons in their head, and more importantly, just be you. It's so important to have that message these days. So yeah, I'm pretty grateful for Sony Animations to allow more creative ideas to happen like this. And we still have to wait for Spider-Verse, but I also want people to know Spider-Verse isn't the only thing Sony Animation can do. K-pop Demon Hunters is one of those examples, and a movie that truly shows that with the right people and the right concepts, you can create whatever your heart desires and people will follow with you. Alright, that concludes the Oscar nominations for Best Animated Feature and overall the Annie nominations as well. Thank you so much for watching my video. I was not expecting to talk this much about it, but I've been very passionate about animation, if you have not known, with this channel. I also just think it's important to remind everybody the importance of these stories, and while it can suck sometimes having a sequel, reboot, or revival tend to thrive over original concepts, but there are original stories out there. You just have to seek it. You have to check your movie theaters, check websites, check anything that you are aware of, any companies that are announcing things. Always keep an eye out for something new in animation, because I promise you, there are such great ideas out there just waiting to be released. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'm signing off.